Sure. Thanks, Pallavi. Thanks for this opportunity. Uh, See, sustainability comes in two forms. That's how we look at it. One is that it has to be sustainable for the PnL, and second is it has to be sustainable for the environment, right? And when I say environment, the human being also becomes a part of it, right? So, to build a sustainable supply chain, the design of the supply chain is something which is the first area to attack that. And I'm specifically talking about the last mile part of it. That's the major differentiator between what we do versus any other retail, outlet around it. So when I say design, what's the kind of efficiency you want to operate with? What's your forecasting versus what's your planning around the forecast, and the resource planning around it, and then how do you design the payout structure around it? So that's first part of it. Second is that what's the radiuses you want to cover, and what's the mode of transport you want to use for that radiuses. So here we look at from the perspective of sustainable transport like bicycles, that can we utilize and maximize the amount of deliveries we do on bicycles? Can we maximize the number of deliveries we do on electric bicycles, on electric vehicles, electric scooters? Because these modes are much more affordable from a asset ownership point of view also. They are easy to use, and a lot of people who work on a very heavy industry like construction kind of a work, they are more than willing to come and do this work where they earn more, and their lifestyle become much more evolved and sustainable with this model. So that's how we balance it. Another example is that recently we partnered with Coca-Cola, for example, to recycle the PET bottles. Now it's a very high degree of synergy, which we have, that our return logistics is vacant all the time, right? We don't use it for any purpose, and the customers who places order with us, they would definitely have PET bottles at their home, which otherwise they would have been kind of disposing in the regular garbage. But if they send it back to us, we will ensure that it's recycled in a more scientific way, where it becomes environment friendly over a period of time. And this is one model we are scaling. And it's not just for Coca-Cola PET bottles; it's for any kind of PET bottles, which can be recycled. So that's another synergy which we have figured. The third one is that from day one we started with paper bags. We ensured that we will never have plastic bags in our use. And now we are moving towards giving an option to the customer that even if you don't need a bag, I have an ability to deliver it without bags to you. So basically a bagless delivery. So you do not accumulate bags at your place. We can actually ensure that the delivery comes to you without any bags associated with it. And that actually leads to the environment sustainability, where millions of liters of water will be saved, millions of trees will be saved from cutting down. So those are the solutions we keep figuring out, and they're also cost effective, right? Because if you don't use bag, it's cost effective. So these are the solutions we figure out, where it's win-win for the stakeholders, it's win-win for environment, it's win-win for the PnL, right? So that's the right mix of sustainable supply. The last but not the least is that on the people side, we index heavily on the productivity, not on the hustle, because hustle will take you to a distance, but it will lead to burnout, and that's not sustainable. So you can build a business, but that business will not be sustainable because it's heavily dependent on hustle of people. So how do you structurally improve productivity of people? And that's where technology, product, etc. comes into play, where you make you make products which assist a person in improving the productivity. You make products which which simplifies the processes. Like if you do, for example, 5 scans to pick a product, that's actually killing the productivity of a person. Can I reduce it to 1 scan? Right? It improves the productivity. Like if person is picking 150 items or articles per person per hour, can I improve it to 300? Not by making him run faster, not by making him hustle more, but by reducing the steps in doing the same job. So that's how I look at building any sustainable supply chain. And see, sustainability and the unit economics goes hand in hand. There is absolutely no conflict between the two, right? In fact, they are not counter metrics; they are actually parallel metrics to each other. Now, coming on to the unit economics part, as I told you, it's all about design, right? It's all about supply chain design. So there are two parts to any PnL. One is your top line, another is the bottom line. Or the way we look at it is the gross profit you make per order and the total cost to service that order, right? To become unit economics positive, your total cost to service the order has to be lesser than the gross profit per order you make in any business. So effectively, gross profit per order has to go up, the cost to service the order has to go down. Now, again, there is no conflict between these two metrics. They are perfectly independent to each other. So the idea is that, or from day one, that's what we indexed on, that can we design a supply chain which, like, from the initiation it's efficient, and then we, from that base, we start making it even more efficient. So, and with that thought process, we invested heavily on the design part of it, and then the planning part of it, right? If your design is right, your planning is right, you are already starting with a base which is lower than any other player in the industry, and therefore it makes a lot of sense to keep investing into that part of it, where structurally, by processes, by systems, by product, you're starting with a very low base. So that's what we did. So naturally, with scale, the fixed cost absorption starts going down, and then we kept on working towards improving the productivity of the people across the supply chain, whether it's procurement, whether it's operating the DC, whether it's mid mile, whether it's dark store operations, whether it's last mile. Everywhere we indexed on improving the productivity of the people by improving processes, by removing unnecessary steps in any of our processes, and then productizing it and automating it. And that's one of the reason we've been able to operate at lowest cost. Just to give you a fact, Zepto is one organization which has never shut a store after it's opened. We have never closed a geography once we have opened it in last 1.5 2 years. The reason being that our cost structure was always very, very low, right? Now, the second element of the unit economics is your gross profit you make per order, right? And it's a beautiful equation. It's very counterintuitive, right? The way most conventional thinking goes is that the lesser you order, the higher will be the order value. But what we have seen is that with the frequency of ordering, if your frequency goes up, your order value also starts going up. And the primary reason is that your platform is becoming much more stickier. That people are shifting their monthly purchase of grocery more towards our platform. That's why with every order or more orders, the order value also starts going up. And that's the reason we are at a level where it's both these numbers, the gross profit we make per order and the total cost to service the order, are just close to each other today. And very soon, you will see a shift where this will start going up and this will start going up, and that's where the real profitability starts coming in the unit economics. So it's discipline, design, planning in supply chain. It's making platform stickier for the customers, where they, you enable them to order more, and that's where your order value starts going up, and that's what is the holy grail of profitability in the Q-commerce.